Hello viewers, welcome to CBN, the Canadian Bangladeshi News. I am Mahbub Osmani with all of you. You know that this year in Canada is the election year. On 21st of October, the federal election will be happening all over Canada. So on that regards, we are going to interview our political leaders who are basically well connected with our Bangladeshi community all over in GTA. So I am very pleased today that I have a very honorable guest with me. He is none other than Nathaniel Erskine-Smith, the youngest parliamentarian in all over GTA. Nathaniel, how are you doing?
Very good. Thanks for having me.
Nice to have you in my show, in my program, and I think the CBN and the readers of CBN and the viewers of CBN, almost everybody knows you because you're a very popular face to our Bangladeshi community. Not only your riding in Beaches Stewart, but I believe that in other ridings like Scarborough Southwest, Scarborough Center, and most of the time I believe that in Bangladesh too, because you visited Bangladesh.
Yeah, well, and we're lucky to have such a thriving and really engaged Bangladeshi community in the east end of Toronto. So it's not just in this riding, but I think across the east end of Toronto, we're lucky.
Definitely. And how are your family doing?
Great. So my son just turned 3 last week, and my wife is expecting in December. So the family keeps growing, and
congratulations.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah.
Thank you. And I know you're super busy with your election campaign, and right now in your campaign office. So I saw that so many things. That's the sign at the back. Re-elect Nathaniel Erskine-Smith. So what is going on? Like in this time, how your campaign is going on right now?
Right. So we have already knocked on doors and made calls across the riding, and we're looking at an election that's going to happen within, I would say, less than 2 weeks. And election day is October 21st, and so we have a really strong number of volunteers, a lot of young volunteers, and we're really hard at work and have been hard at work all summer, but we're sitting in our campaign office at 1992 Danforth, and we need all the help that we can get. This is going to be a tough election. We need to make sure we still have a Liberal government after October 21st, and otherwise we're going to lose a lot of the significant and important progress we've made. And so for anyone who wants to help, votenate.ca and come join our campaign and come make a difference.
Nice. And I have a question to you. Like, I think most of the readers, they have the same question. Why do you like Liberal Party, and why did you join in this party?
For a number of different reasons. I mean, you can see the history of the Liberal Party of Canada. We've had some incredible leaders. I look at Lester B. Pearson, or I look at Pierre Trudeau, and they've really helped shape Canada to be the country that it is, the successful country that it is. And so our success as a country has oftentimes depended upon strong Liberal leaders and strong Liberal governments. Also, just generally when you look at policies, I tend to, I want to see social justice done. I want to ensure that we tackle equality, but I also want to make sure that our budgets are fiscally sustainable and that we do so in a responsible way. And lastly, I was really drawn to the leadership of Justin Trudeau, who was calling for young people to get in politics. He was calling for people to represent their home communities, and I grew up here in Beaches, East York. I went to local schools here. I played baseball in the area. My parents are local teachers, and so he really allowed for a process and encouraged young people through an open nomination process to represent their home communities. So, and I think when you look at the record over the last 4 years, when you go to make the decision to run again and to seek re-election, you have to look back and what has the government accomplished? Is this a government that should still be in government and should still be in power and should still be pursuing our objectives? And I would say we've made such progress that it really motivated me to run again and to continue to represent the Liberal Party.
Yeah. In 2015, you ran for the first time as a member of parliament in Beaches, East York, and you defeated the incumbent member of parliament, Matthew Kelly, at the time.
Yeah.
So what will be happening in 2019? What do you expect?
Well, there are, politics is a fickle business. You never know. I think we've worked really hard over 4 years. We've been very involved, not just in the Bangladeshi community, but across the riding. We've helped thousands of people in our constituency office. I've been very vocal in Ottawa, in Parliament, on behalf of our community and for any number of issues, from public safety and gun violence to stronger immigration, to tackling poverty reduction and making life more affordable, to tackling climate change. I mean, a range of different issues. And I think this election, there will obviously be candidates from other parties, but this election isn't about, last election was about replacing Stephen Harper. and we really needed to get rid of a really regressive conservative government that attacked evidence and science. This election is more about reminding Canadians of the important progress we've made and saying we want to protect that progress and build on that progress. And when people can see the disaster and chaos that's happening in Ontario right now with Doug Ford, I think we need to continue with some responsible, sensible government at the federal level without question.
Yeah, definitely. You said that this is very important for your party. So I have a question like that. How is your party going to give a better transportation for the community here in Toronto?
Yeah, so we have, over the last 4 years, we have announced major infrastructure programs, including one dedicated to public transit, and we've invested more monies in the TTC in Toronto than any federal government in Canadian history. And you've seen pictures and discussions between Justin Trudeau and John Tory. There's an incredibly strong partnership there, not just on transportation, also on housing. And where the city needs support, the federal government will continue to be there support. I mean, obviously, we don't control what gets built and when it gets built. That's the city's decision. But where they need financing, they need federal support, we will continue to be there as a strong partner.
Great. And what about the Canadian Child Benefit? How does it help people?
So this is a program, I think this is the single biggest, most important policy that we implemented over 4 years. It is a program that increases the amount of money that people who have families who have kids and are in need of help are able to receive. And we basically did it by, there were a number of child benefits. We collapsed them all into one. We canceled the program that went to really high earners, people who really didn't need the help at all, and we expanded the program and directed more monies to families in need. And so now and we've increased it twice now over those 4 years as well. So you now have a benefit up to $7,000 per kid under 6. The more you earn, the less you get. It's fair that way. But it significantly more money in the pockets of families, and we've seen almost 300,000 families or 300,000 kids come out of poverty. Many more families and adults come out of poverty. We've seen 825,000 fewer Canadians are in poverty today than in 2015. 300,000 fewer kids, or almost 300,000 fewer kids. And beyond the poverty reduction, it has made life more affordable for people. So, the family that earns $60,000, in wherever in the riding with 2 kids, they are significantly better off. With 1 kid, they're significantly better off. I mean, there is, before the last election, City of Toronto had some numbers, just as an example of one area of our riding. The child poverty rate in Crescent Town was 30%. You talk to families, when I walk through Crescent Town, people will come up to me and say, this has made a significant difference in our lives. And so I think that specific policy has not only been really important for making life more affordable, but also for making our society just a little bit more fair.
Do you think that some people misuse it, like they give birth more children to get more benefits?
This accusation is occasionally raised, but it's important to remember the cost of raising a child is well over $7,000 a year. So, childcare alone, I've got a 3-year-old, and childcare alone is thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, well exceeding $7,000, and that's just childcare. So, I mean, when you look at, are people making decisions to have kids because of the benefit? No. But where people do make a decision to have a kid, it's a struggle in the City of Toronto without kids. It's an even bigger struggle when you do have kids. And we want to make sure that families have a more affordable life, but we also want to make sure that kids have the best opportunity to succeed in life. And making sure that the family is able to have some additional resources to make sure that those kids are looked after in the best possible way is not just good for that family. It's good for our society and good for our future. So, I mean, to the extent that even if it were misused, which I don't think it is, but even if it were misused in some small way, the massively positive benefit it has overall can't be understated.
Yep, nice. So you are the chairperson of Canada-Bangladesh Parliamentary Committee, and last time in 2017 you visited Bangladesh to take part in the Inter-Parliamentary Union IPA conference.
Yeah.
How was that visit, and what did you like about Bangladesh?
It was amazing. I wish I had been there longer and had more of an opportunity to travel outside of Dhaka, because there's so much construction, there's so much building, it is growing so quickly. There is, of course, a lot of traffic, as I learned. I will never complain about Toronto traffic ever again. But I wish I'd seen Cox's Bazar. I wish I'd seen so many different parts of
Sundarban, you know about that.
yeah,
forest.
I was able to visit. I visited because every February 21st, obviously, or February 20th at midnight, as it turns into the
Celebrate,
21st, we
yeah.
celebrate International Language Day, and we have a monument, Shahid Minar, but a replica, obviously here. So I was able to visit the Shahid Minar in Dhaka. So that was really nice. I was able to visit the Museum of the Father of the Nation. I was able to see a few things that were within reach. But I would love to go to Chittagong. I would love to see so much of Bangladesh, and I hope to go back if I'm re-elected, and I hope to go back again in an official capacity and see beyond Dhaka. And the only other thing I would say about it was we have such a strong and welcoming Bangladeshi community here in Beaches East York, and I was lucky to have a few constituents come with me on my trip, and it was the same. People are just so welcoming, and they were just so happy to have me there and to welcome me into their homes and to welcome me into their community. So it was, I visited a university there. There were any number of things that I was able to do, and everyone was just so positive all the time. It was. I hope to go back.
Nice. And your government is helping to negotiate the Rohingya crisis in Bangladesh,
Yes.
as you know that.
Yeah.
And Bob Ray, he was appointed for that reason.
Yeah.
So what is your opinion regarding the Rohingya crisis?
So this is an issue where when people say, what have you delivered for the community and how have you been a voice for our community, I can point to immigration matters, for example, and we've helped individuals, but we've also been vocal about a fair immigration system. But here is an issue where people were incredibly vocal in our Bangladeshi community to do more as a country in Canada to help the Rohingya refugee crisis, and I spoke out in the House. I gave a long speech in the House to call for greater action. I was in conversation with Bob Ray. I actively worked alongside colleagues through the Human Rights Caucus, and there we saw Canada has been at the forefront responding to the calls from communities like ours to be more vocal leaders. We've delivered more in financial aid, and we can, through not only Bob Ray's leadership, Chrystia Freeland's leadership, Justin Trudeau's leadership, had continued in conversations with the Bangladeshi government, and we have, beyond Bangladesh, of course, has contributed more than any country because out of necessity, but Canada is right up there next. There are a few countries that have contributed more than Canada in delivering support to help that crisis and help address the genocide that took place in Myanmar. So it's as I said in the House, I'm very thankful for the efforts of the Bangladeshi government, and very thankful for the efforts of the Canadian government as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for your comment. And do you have any message towards our Bangladeshi community or your voters who are living in your riding?
Yeah, I would just say it's been an honor to represent Beaches East York over 4 years. It's been an honor to be welcomed into community events that I otherwise never would have had an opportunity to participate in but for the role that I've had and but for the generosity and welcoming spirit of the community. And whether it is Eid prayer, whether it is International Language Day, whether it is various programming, kids soccer, whatever the case might be, it's been just incredible to see different parts of our community, to participate in different parts of our community. I think I've been a successful advocate in a number of different respects. I know our government has really been a strong partner for Toronto, really made our immigration system fair, made life more affordable. We're doing our part on the world stage, not only for the Rohingya refugee crisis, but on climate change. And locally, I've raised any number of issues from gun violence to animal protections to recognizing local community projects in the House of Commons like International Mother Language Day. So there are so many ways. It's hard to take a look back after 4 years and point to one or two things because there's been so much that we've been able to accomplish over 4 years. And so I hope to have your support over another 4 years. It would mean a lot to me. And if you want to get involved, just remember votenate.ca and come out on October 21st.
Last but not the least, how a Bangladeshi community in your riding can get help from your office once you will be elected?
Right, so while our campaign office is at 1992 Danforth Avenue, we continue to have a constituency office at 1902 Danforth. And so remember, you can come in, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. our staff are even throughout the election, if there's a serious need, you're welcome to come there for help. And after the election, we'll have even more resources to help if we're still kicking around, when we're still around. And don't hesitate to reach out at any time. The parliamentary email still works. The phone will still be there.
So website. So
yeah, exactly. So don't. I'm asking for help in the election, but don't hesitate to continue to seek the help of my constituency office.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your valuable time, and wish you all the best.
Yeah, thanks very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Dear viewers, thank you for watching, and we really have a great time with our honorable guest, Nathaniel Erskine-Smith. He is running for the Member of Parliament in the next federal election on 21st October as a Member of Parliament of Beaches East York riding. So if you like him, you can vote him. He already told you how you need to vote him. He has all the website and phone numbers and the campaign office. So thank you very much again, and thank you so much for watching. In the next video, in the next interview, we'll have another person with us, and please stay with CBN. Have a nice day.